Dari, hello. It is Thursday and just doing a nightly report at the end of a very long day. The first thing I wanted to say is that I'd kind of forgotten how tropical or indeed hot the weather is here. So we've had temperatures of over 30 degrees, and that does make sleeping quite difficult, I have to say. Switzerland isn't a country which has air conditioning in many of its properties. So when the temperatures go above, well, it's personal preference, but for me, when it gets to even close to 30 or higher than 30, it's tough to either sleep or work or do anything really, I find. Also, we've had rain. Now, what happens, again, as for British viewers, is that at these temperatures, it absolutely hammers down with rain in Lausanne, absolutely hammers down, and then it just evaporates because it's so warm that within about half an hour, if you look down onto the street level, it's all dry. So yeah, I'd class it as tropical with a small t. That's the kind of tittle tattle out of the way. My partner and I have been discussing a lot about where we should be living in the future, where we can be living in the future, and where we'd like to be living in the future. And those intersections may not be intersections. So we've been looking at the legalities of if we would like to return to Switzerland, is that in fact possible? Should we desire it? Because the Swiss are quite protective about who can live here. So it took us well over 10 years to get our permits. And when we came back to the UK, for various reasons, first personal reasons, we asked for our permits to be extended as is the norm. And they did that, but then COVID happened. And so the whole thing went to pot really. So we don't have those C permits anymore. And one option would be to try and ask if we could get them back. But we've been through the online literature and we can't find a way to do that. Nevertheless, if we could get a meeting with the canton office and ask them that question, that's one avenue. There's another two different classes of permits that we could investigate. One is the elderly permit, which I'm old enough to qualify for. And in that permit, you basically say that you're not looking for work, you won't look for work, you can support yourself, and you won't be a drain on the state. And that's the second avenue. And the third avenue is my partner said that you could apply for a university course, and then once you've presumably paid for that university course, then you can apply to the canton and say, oh, by the way, can I stay in this country? So that's the third option. So we're looking into all of that. It's a bit stressful because we are in the middle of a building project or rebuilding project. Now today, being the Swiss National Holiday Day, there wasn't any building going on. So we good and bad, we had time to mull over all of these difficult points in the 30 plus degrees weather, which was intermittently intersected with rain segments. So we thought we'd go for a run as well. So we went for a run, trying not to think about these difficult subjects of mind, but then we ended up just running and talking about them and kind of depressing ourselves further in the sense that it's just not easy. In our cave, there has been a large number of items that have been stored here, and I didn't take them to the UK, and it was time to go through some of those things. I was really clever when I went back to the UK, and I only took kind of some essential vintage computer items, and I left a set of lesser vintage items, which would have been nice to take, but maybe not so regularly used. And so I was just starting to look through all the boxes of those things. In Switzerland, they have a web service called Anibis. It sounds a bit like cannabis without the C, but it's ANIBIS.ch. And on that, you can advertise things for free. So I've been advertising things like computer equipment, not for free. No replies. I've been advertising things like IKEA comfy chairs for free. lots of replies, but nobody's saying, I want to come round straight away. And also things like Calax sort of wall shelving units. And again, lots of people, very interested, but nobody actually said, oh, we can come round. Now, I suppose it could be because today's the national holiday, but I thought I might get someone keen who said, yes, I can come round and pick it up, but no. And it's a bit of a faff to do all the organisation, and it's much easier to just take it to the déchetterie and just throw it away. But I really don't want to do that. I'd really like to give it a second life somewhere else, but people are not making it easy. And also, I'm a bit grumped at the fact that anything that I attached a price to, even though it's quite small, so for example, for a IKEA cabinet that cost about £600 or £700, I put a £50 price tag on it. No replies. So, yeah, that kind of makes me cross. Anyway, we're doing our best to do recycle stuff, and we're doing our best to try and figure out, should we wish to stay, can we stay? That's the story for today. Good night.